say to my bride, let's go for a ride in my newfangled automobile. Just where we will go, nobody knows, but it's sure a great way to feel. Behind the wheel of the speed meter steel, it's my newfangled automobile.
Hello and welcome to Vintage Car History. I'm Wild Bill. There are many businessmen that didn't make cars themselves, but promoted cars and automobilism as a whole. Most of these folks were publishers, and part of their passion had to do with selling newspapers and magazines. Yet there were those extremely wealthy businessmen that promoted motorsports not for profit, but instead out of the pure love for the sport. And perhaps the best known of such gearhead business moguls was William Kissam Vanderbilt II. In the 19th and early 20th century, the Vanderbilts were the closest thing to a royal family that America had. Indeed, some Vanderbilts married into overseas nobility. Our hero, William, was born in 1878 in New York City. Being the eldest son of his father, William, he went by Willie K growing up. His early life was one of unthinkable luxury. The many estates of the Vanderbilts lacked for absolutely nothing. He went to the obligatory, ultra-expensive prep school, St. Mark's, in Southborough, Massachusetts. Of course, during his school years, he would travel around the world with his family on private yachts and first-class ocean liners. It was on one of these extended stays, this time in France, that he first encountered a car. At 10 years old, he got to ride in a three-wheeled Serpollet around and about Monte Carlo, and this planted the car bug seed. He, of course, indulged in racing as a whole at a young age, horse and yacht racing in particular. As it turned out, he was a good sailor and became an expert yachtsman, building and racing his own vessels. He even won the Sir Thomas Lipton Cup in 1900, sailing his yacht, Virginia, named after his recent new bride. He did attend Harvard for a couple of years, but never completed his degree. Instead, his father put him in charge of one of the family businesses, the New York Central Railroad in this case, and he continued to pursue his various passions. And cars were on the list. During the late 1890s, he was known to offer his services to various race teams as a driver and did indeed compete in some of the continental races of the time. In 1898, he bought a de Dion Bouton gas-powered tricycle and had it shipped to his home in Manhattan. The following year, he bought a proper four-wheeled machine, a Moore, and also shipped it from France to his doorstep. He bought a second one to keep handy for when he went to France. So on either side of the pond, he was behind the wheel and loving every minute of it. Cars became Willie's passion, and he wanted to both pursue and share his passion. In the pursuit, he began to buy cars at quite a large scale, maintaining several garages on various estates and properties. He also tried his hand at setting the land speed record in a car, a goal which he successfully accomplished in 1904 at Daytona Beach, driving a Mercedes at a speed of 92.3 miles per hour. It was in 1904 that he went all out. He saw the level of organization going on with racing in Europe, with the races sponsored by various organizations, the Gordon Bennett Cup, and other events. He also saw how these events were shaping the auto industry. And the USA just didn't have races at that level to help develop and promote new automotive technology. So he decided to establish an American race, just as large and prestigious as those found in France and elsewhere, and he would pay for all of it out of his own pocket. This race would be the Vanderbilt Cup. First held in October of 1904, it took quite a bit of work on Willie's side to get it put together. The proposed closed-circuit track was through the almost non-existent roads of Nassau County on Long Island, New York, and the residents of Long Island weren't happy about that and attempted to injunct the race in court. Vanderbilt prevailed, and the race went forward. The 2.5-foot tall solid silver trophy was quite a prize, along with the $10,000 in cash, and racers from across the automotive world came to the USA to vie for the prize. A few American teams competed as well, but it was the French company Panhard taking the first cup, though it was driven by an American, George Heath. The next few races were a success, though problems with the roads and crowd control were issues. Willie would address this by building the Long Island Motor Parkway, one of the first paved highways in the United States. Costing some $3 million, it was not only a paved road that was perfect for racing, but also a public toll road that allowed easy access to Long Island to the mainland, as it were. And he believed that if America had roads to drive on, Americans would buy lots of cars and fall in love with driving them, as he did. The details of the early Vanderbilt Cup races are a tale for another day, it being held on and off for some 60 years. William Kissam Vanderbilt II himself was a total gearhead that just loved himself some cars. His vision was to share his passion for the automobile and encourage the American automotive industry to simply get better and truly compete with the European automotive giants of the day. And in that, I'd say he succeeded. Thanks for watching Vintage Car History, and we'll see you next week. Peace.